Hello, Village. Pastor A.J. Welcome to today's Rooted Online. We're still in First Peter, and we are in chapter 2 today, looking at verses 11 and 12. If you haven't watched so far what we've done, can you please go back and watch that and catch up with us? As we're coming to the end of this section in First Peter 2, it would be helpful for you to have a little bit more of the context as we dive into what Peter has to say to the church here. Let me read it for you. First Peter 2, 11 and 12. Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul. Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation. Peter here gives a couple of strong urges to these Christians at the time, and even now to us as believers, but what he encourages is that they abstain from passions of the flesh. They are sojourners and exiles, words that Peter uses to emphasize the fact that as believers, we're simply passing through this world. This isn't our final home. This isn't our final destiny. And so we need to be aware of that as we interact and live among people in this world. He says, abstain from passions of the flesh which wage war against your soul. Are there things in your life that are pulling you away from who God is, away from God's presence, His church, His worship of Him, whatever it may be? Are there passions of the flesh, things that entice you that pull away from that? And that could be explicit sin, but could also be things that might not be so bad, but are still pulling you away from God. Abstain from those things, Peter says. He also says in verse 12 that your conduct among the Gentiles must be kept honorable. I think back to Pastor Ron's sermon this Sunday and think on social media, how is our conduct seen among non-believers? How are we showing our love to fellow believers? And how are the Gentiles or people who don't believe in God receiving that? How are we seen as Christians in a world that doesn't know Him? Because this is our first priority. The gospel, sharing the gospel, bringing people to the kingdom, glorifying God, that's our number one priority. And so how are we living? Are we living in a way that has people look at our Jesus and say, I don't want that, if that's what that means? Or are we living in a way where people look at our lives and, as Peter says, give glory to the Father because of what we do in His name? That's the life we ought to be living. When they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation. Brothers and sisters, we have a job. We have a responsibility on this planet to be doing good, to glorify God, to love other people as God has loved us, and to be His ambassadors to a lost and dying world that so desperately needs the gospel. And so that's our prayer for you this week, is that you would see opportunities for the gospel through your actions, through your thoughts, through your words. Keep in mind that people are watching. And what will they see that you believe in as you live out your life?